Alright guys, welcome back. For this video, we're going to be going over all the 28 different creatures that you can breed and create, okay? There's going to be a lot of farming for these different characters because some of them are nighttime, some of them are daytime, and some of the higher leveled, some are mid-level, and some other starting characters. But anyway, we're going to be going over exactly what they look like, their attributes, and how to breed them, okay? If you don't understand on how to breed, I already made a video explaining everything in the simplest of ways. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what you can create and what you need to create them. So first of all, let's have a look at the Shadowbeak. Now this one is pretty damn cool. This one, you're gonna need the Kitsun and the Estagon, okay? These characters can be found in the places that I'll be showing you on screen now. Next up we have is the Ozark. For this big guy, you're gonna need the Grisbolt and the Relaxaurus. Next up we have is the Phalaris. This guy, you're gonna need the Vanrium and you're gonna need the Anubis characters to create. Next up we have is the Lyeline. You're gonna need the Mosander and you're gonna need the Patilia. Now I really hope that I'm pronouncing these names correctly because they are quite weird. But anyway, on to the next one. Next up we have the Hangyu Crest. For this one you're gonna need obviously the Hangyu himself and you're gonna need the Sui. This guy is very tiny but very useful. Next up we have is the Ice Reptyro. Obviously you're gonna need the Reptyro for this guy and you're gonna need the Foxicle to create him. Next up we have is the Sazuku Aqua. Obviously you're gonna need the Sazuku or however you pronounce them, and you're gonna need the Jormuntide. Next up we have the Goblin Igni or the Goblin Ignis. You're gonna need obviously the Goblin himself and you're gonna need a Ruby. Next up we have the Serpent Terror. You're gonna need obviously the Serpent and you're gonna need a Dumont or Dumont or however again you pronounce them. Up next we have the Broncherry Aqua. You're gonna need obviously the Broncherry and the Thwack to create this one. Up next, we have the Robin Quill Terror. You're going to need the Robin Quill, and you're going to need the Fuddler. Up next is the Blaze Howl Noct. You're going to need the Blaze Howl, and you're going to need a Fellbat. The Leespunk Igni is up next. Obviously, you're going to need the Leespunk himself and a Flame Bell. The Lineleen Noct. For this one, obviously you're going to need Lineleen herself, and you're going to need the Man-Sting or the Men-Sting. The Ice King Packer is next up. We're going to need the King Packer, and we're going to need a Raindrace. The Frostallion Noct. For this one, you're going to need the Frostallion Boss, and you're going to need a Hellsphere. The Jolthog Crust. You're going to need the Jolthog, and you're going to need a little Pinglet. Up next, we have the Dinosaur Lux. For this one, obviously, you're going to need the Dinosaur, and you're going to need a Rayhound. Next up, we have the Mosander Lux. You're going to need the Mosander, and you're going to need a Grisbolt. The Mammoth Crest. For this one, you're going to need a Mammoth, and you're going to need a Wombo. The Pyrin Noct. You're going to need a Pyrin and a Catris. The Alphadrian Aqua, I think that's how you pronounce it. You're going to need the Alphadrian, and you're going to need a Serpent. The Eichthidea Noct, I think it is. And for this one, you're going to need the Eichthidea herself, and you're going to need a Hangyu. The Vine Rim Crust, this is one of the prettiest ones. You're going to need the Vine Rim and a Foxicle. Next up, we have a Mao Crust. For this one, you're going to need a Mao himself and a Pingulet. The Increum Noct, you're going to need an Increum and a Marieth. And for the last one, a Relaxaurus Lux. You're going to need a Sparkit and a Relaxaurus. And that is pretty much it for this video. I really do hope that it helps you guys out and have a full understanding on how to create these characters. I know some of them can be a little bit strange, and some of these guys are going to be a bit difficult to find because some of them are in the higher to end game places you're going to have to go, and you're going to need a lot of equipment and a lot of spheres to catch these guys, but they are definitely worth it. And once you have them, you can create an infinite amount of them. Definitely some of the best PALs in this entire game is created like this, and further on I'll be making even more videos like this one explaining on how to even get some different types of OP PALs as well. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.